my God, I am so fucking annoyed.
Yes, that pretty much sums up about how my 2020.
Are people just okay with the way that the economy is right now? I mean, the amount of people that are struggling in this economy in 2024 and the amount of people that just don't care is ridiculous. This is not a Biden-Trump rant. This is like a genuine rant. Whatever is going on in Washington is not working. I own my own business, and I just got done sending $12,000 to the IRS. While $12,000 is ridiculous for what I made, I wouldn't even care if it went towards something useful. I wrote a $12,000 check, literally just knowing it's going to be sent to Ukraine. It's either sent to Ukraine, or it's sent to the Middle East, or it's sent to some shit that just doesn't even matter. I wouldn't mind paying 12 grand if it was being sent to Maui, where all those people's houses got burnt down. But no, you know what the people of Maui got? They got $700. Like, send my 12 grand to a family in Maui. Why are you sending it to Ukraine? What the fuck do we have to do in Ukraine?
And how do you get into a gang? Do you have to like apply or anything, or how do you?
Yeah, you gotta apply. I mean, you gotta get jumped on. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. That's you applying, I guess. You gotta get.
Damn, what?
Yeah, you gotta get jumped on by like multiple motherfuckers. You know.
And what do you even wear to something like that?
Listen, who is the CEO of Indeed.com? Who? I just want to talk. See, that's about 300 plus job applications. And keep in mind, I already have a job. I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining. I mean, that is diabolical, fam. What? Urgently hiring. That is the biggest scam I have ever heard in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been played for a fool. A hooligan. An absolute idiot. Listen, you're better off printing out your CV, scrunching it up into a ball, throwing it down the canal and hoping that someone picks it up and hires you. Listen, if this was 3 months ago, I would have considered trapping.
Billionaires think the economy is going to crash in 2024. They're betting billions of dollars on this. The first one is one of the richest men in the world, Ray Dalio. And what he said recently has investors freaking out. Yes, we're near an inflection point. And this graph is a good example of the problem. This is the national debt, and he said U.S. is now borrowing money to pay down its debt service. And the billionaire that's like 10 times richer than him agrees. And the third richest man in the world is betting big on this. In the last couple quarters, so 2023, he sold 10 billion, 13 billion, 5 billion, and 5.3 billion worth of his stock. Because he anticipates some blood in the water for the economy. They said this is classic Warren Buffett, and when he does it, it's a sign that there's a recession. And they're expecting all this to happen any day.
3 billionaires destroying the real estate market right now. And number 1, I bet you've never even heard of. Number 3 is Jeff Bezos. He's on here for 2 reasons. He spent millions of.
Is anyone else struggling to land a job post-grad or like while you're in grad land that internship? I'm frustrated. I'm literally pursuing my master's. I'm being told I'm either overqualified or underqualified for certain positions. And the most mind-boggling thing is thinking that my master's is going to set me apart, and then being told that my master's is basically making me too high of a level for certain jobs and too low level for others. What am I supposed to do? Is anybody else struggling? And if you are, like, what are you doing?
Oh my God, I am so fucking annoyed. Keep scrolling if you don't want to hear me rant, because I'm totally going to rant. If you follow me, you already know that I've been doing gig work with Lyft and DoorDash. Initially, it was because my mom had dementia and I was taking care of her, and I just lost my job because they wanted me to store books. But I chose to stick with this gig economy because I want to be at the Iowa State Capitol as much as possible during this session so I can raise a ruckus. That's the backstory. If you can't afford to tip, don't order DoorDash. I can't even count how many dashes and lifts I've had where people say, "You make pretty good money doing this, right?" Dude. No. They both advertise that you can make $20 an hour with tips. First of all, that's not a good wage. That's not a good wage. Second of all, a ton of people do not tip. This is an actual way bill that I received from doing 2 stacked deliveries. Stacked deliveries. First, I went to A&W and waited for it and picked up their order. Then I went to Long John Silver's and waited and picked up their order. Then I delivered A&W's order, and then I delivered Long John Silver's order. This is the time it took, and that is what I made. That is not $20 an hour. Nobody understands being broke more than me, but I would never go to a restaurant and not tip my waitress. That's effectively what you're doing when you don't tip for Lyft or DoorDash. Making ends meet this legislative session is gonna be a challenge.
Has the market completely avoided a recession? These are the top 3 indicators that show that a recession is still on the table. The unemployment rate is the largest indicator that everybody is obsessed with, but the lows of each unemployment rate historically have happened 6 months to 8 months before the recession actually started. But the December report for a leading employment indicator crashed to new lows that we haven't seen since the pandemic. That is a huge crack in the tight labor market narrative. The second is that the yield curve is still heavily inverted, and once we have that reversion, that's when typically recessions begin. People forget that the yield curve uninverts because things are usually getting pretty bad, the Fed pivots, and the 2-year goes below the 10-year. And lastly, we want to pay attention to the consumer because they make up almost 70% of the GDP number, and they're not doing too good. Delinquency rates have skyrocketed. And after the large acceleration in Q3 GDP, Atlanta Fed's GDP nowcast has it going back down to 2.5%.
Watch how the South Korean couple reacted when they were asked about getting married and having kids.
2 Koreans want to get married.
I don't know, these days, no, I don't think married.
Married is okay, but not baby. Why no baby? So hard. 저 혼자도 힘들어요.
Just baby too.
So there's a pretty low chance that these folks want kids, and it's actually following a trend. We all know kids are setting money on fire expensive. That's also true in South Korea. But South Korea also struggles with work-life balance. It has one of the most grueling work hours, with people spending most of their days at work, and then once you clock out of work, you gotta go spend time with your boss, eating and drinking. Additionally, places like South Korea and Japan relying on women to be the primary caretaker for children. So it puts a lot of stress on women, hence why a lot of young people don't wanna have children. And because of this, fertility rates have plummeted across South Korea. But this decline is also being seen around the world. Countries with the lowest birth rates include Greece, Italy, Spain, Japan, Singapore, and Taiwan. And we're seeing this decline in the US as well. Millennials in the US are having fewer kids than their parents. In fact, there's like only 34% of millennials that have kids in America. And research has found that almost 44% of people who don't have kids plan on never having them. It's largely because of costs, but also fear of the future, like climate change.
Yes, that pretty much sums up about how my 2024 has fucking started already. Let me just get one of these real quick. I'll be fine in about an hour. To everybody out there who said that their 2024 resolution was, I'm gonna start my own business and finally have the freedom and financial stability to do whatever I want and spend as much time with my family as possible. Back to the people who think they want to start a business. A, if you want to start a business for immediate financial relief, go ahead and just stick to your 9-to-5 or whatever MLM you work at. You want more time? Get a fucking watch. That's the only way that's going to happen because you're going to work in your sleep. And if you even just think that you have stress and anxiety, oh my God, it's a half moon tonight. My anxiety can't take it. Go ahead and shit in your hand and throw it at the wall because that's about as mostly productive as you're going to be able to fucking get. We are on day 2 of 2024. Day 2. Technically, it's the first day because day 1 doesn't count. This is day 2. And I've already had severe complications with almost every vendor and everything that I fucking use. We're not even going to talk about the fact that Uncle Sam knocked on my door on day fucking 2 and said, pay up, bitch. Somebody kicked me in the fucking nuts already.
Just a heads up that it looks like Google may be planning an AI-related layoff that'll hit 30,000 jobs, mostly in their ad spaces business. They're actively looking at how they can use AI to improve efficiency, and improved efficiency means that oftentimes people's jobs get eliminated. This comes on the heels of IBM also announcing last year that they would replace up to 7,800 jobs with AI, so we're losing some positions based on improved efficiency there as well. And Duolingo also announced recently that they would be cutting some of their contractors who do the translation services in favor of AI technologies. keeping in mind that this is going to be more pervasive as we go forward into 2024. This is going to be a common theme or common trend that I predicted. So if you're somebody that is in a job type that might be a high risk or in an industry that might be high risk, now's the time to start taking proactive steps. Don't wait till the other shoe drops. Don't get behind the 8 ball.
So, like, what's the over-under on the 2024 job market? Like, what's the parlay? What are the vibes? Because this job market is like the craziest that I have ever seen. I got laid off from my job like 3 months ago, and I still have like zilch from my job hunt. I've had resume screens, whatever, with recruiters. I've had some in-person interviews. I've had assessments. By the way, those should be like illegal because it's unpaid work and it ends up being BS for a lot of the times. You don't even get hired after doing all that work. Like, I don't want to do an exam or a presentation for your company. Like, who do you think you are? And then they'll want like 100 years of experience for like a basic entry-level job. Like, it's just ridiculous. I'm gonna end this because I'm gonna start ranting. But yeah, I just wanted to just get this out there and just hope for all of us unemployed people out there, hoping for better in the new year. And yeah, so have a good day.
I see at least one post like this in the news every single day that is highlighting somebody who is living in a tiny home or living in their car or found some other way out of having a mortgage or a rent payment. And it's always skewed as being inspirational or cool or cute or hipster that people are doing this. And sure, I think it's wonderful that they have found a way out of that type of wage slavery, but it's really important to note that the reason that this is a trend is because living in this country is unaffordable. Most Americans are now spending 43% of their income on their housing. That's not cute. That's not a trend. It is an emergency. Almost every single industry is anticipating layoffs in 2024. So what happens when the number of homeless in this country increases exponentially because people cannot afford anywhere to live? Job loss is associated with a 73% increase in the probability of death. They can't afford healthcare, and they can't afford to eat, and they have nowhere safe to live. Just a reminder, this isn't cute. This is an emergency.
Yeah. Damn, I'm a smooth dude. I've
never in my fucking life seen like fucking fast food places charging for a fucking bag. Like, how else? Like, what the fuck? If I'm taking this shit to fucking go, obviously I'm gonna need a fucking bag. I'm not eating this shit here. It's like, what the fuck, y'all about to start charging for fucking straws too now, since y'all went from fucking plastic to fucking paper and charge for fucking sauce. Then out of nowhere, y'all start charging for fucking ice and water. Like, y'all about to just start charging for fucking everything for no, like, make it fucking make sense. Like, y'all went from plastic to fucking paper. Now y'all want motherfuckers to pay for that shit. Ain't nobody asked y'all to transition. The fuck?
Excuse me. 2024. I just wanted to ask. Now, I tried to warn your buddy over there, but I guess I wasn't clear enough. So let me make this simple. I'm tired, but rent due, bills due, and I can't glow up from the inside of a cardboard box. So here's what you better do. Fix the cost of living. Cancel the next disease DLC. Remove Taylor Swift from my feed and deflate prices, or I'll inflate my foot up your